What's going on, everybody? This is Eric here from ParaFlinch. Welcome to our Lost Thunder set review. Today I am joined with Shane from the Moist Bois. Shane, go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hi, my name's Shane. I'm from the Portland, Oregon area, and I play Pokemon.
He does. I play Pokemon too. So with that, you guys know we're credible. Let's go right into this. Well, before we start, I should mention our rating system. So we're gonna do the 5-star rating system. 1 star, it's a card that's worthy to note, but it more than likely won't see any play outside of league challenges. 2 star, these cards could be good, but they definitely need time to test and see how they hold up to our current meta. 3-star cards, they could be included in some decks right away, and they could provide immediate use to combat the meta. 4 stars definitely will see play and may be in the top tier decks, or may become top tier decks themselves. And then 5 stars, these cards are the absolute top tier cards. They will become top tier archetypes, or they will be included in almost, if not all, decks. And you can think along the lines of Tapu Lele GX, Cynthia, and Shane's favorite, Shrine. So let's get right on into this. We will start with Shuckle. Ability, once during your turn before you attack, when you play this card from your hand onto your bench, you may search for 3 basic energy cards, discard them, then shuffle your deck. I'm not so much of a believer on this card. I mean, it's really only used for Alolan Executor. I'll let Shane talk about it a little bit more because he likes it more than me. So go ahead, Shane.
I don't particularly like it, to be honest. I only gave it 2. I think it's playable, in Alolan Executor specifically, but I don't think that deck really has a lot of consistency options for it to be relevant in the meta. Maybe with Netball or anything, it might have a little bit more consistency.
Yeah. Do you think it could be good as like a Shrine deck? One prize attacker makes Tropical Shake more consistent?
Possibly. It already hits pretty relevant numbers with maximum energy in the discard, so probably not with Shrine.
Yeah.
Maybe with that new stadium that's coming out, that grass one.
True.
In this set.
True.
Because it has a pretty good HP number to it. So
yeah. And then Shuckle has a decent attack as well. Attach 2 basic energy cards from your discard pile to your Pokemon any way you like. So yeah, I mean, it's okay. I mean,
it's pretty decent.
It's okay. Yeah, it's decent. I mean, I just don't think it's gonna see any play, so that's why I kind of rated it 1 star. But it has its uses in very niche decks such as Alolan Executor. I put Malamar and then Zeraora there as well because they have Psychic Recharge, and then Zeraora's GX attack, attach 5 basic energy from your discard pile to your Pokemon. I think it's actually Lightning Energy, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, I think it's Lightning Energy.
But yeah, so I mean, there's uses there. But I mean, we have Ultra Ball, we have Mysterious Treasure, we have other things to get your energy cards on discard pile. So, I mean, it's there, it's an option. But yeah.
There's no Battle Compressor though.
Yeah, no Battle Compressor.
So it's kind of like an Ultra Ball for a Battle Compressor if you really need it.
That's true.
Only for energy, but still pretty good.
Yeah.
Not usable and expanded, really.
Okay, so next we got Virizion GX. For a colorless energy, double draw, get 2 cards. Pretty cool. 2 grass energy, sensitive blade, 50 damage. If you play a supporter this turn, this does 80 more damage. So you can see I have Gallade poking out back there. It's actually the same amount of damage. Yeah, it is the same amount of damage. It's 130. Just the base damage is weaker on Virizion, so which I guess makes sense because it's a basic, but I don't know. It all comes out to be the same, right? 130. And then for its GX attack, 1 colorless energy, Breeze Away GX, put any number of your Pokemon in play, and all cards attach them into your hand. I think that's actually a really good GX attack. I mean, you're hitting, well, so you're hitting 130, right, each turn, hypothetically, Choice Band 160. And then if you're like retreating, it has a 1 retreat cost, which is worthy to note, so you can use escape boards, or you can just manually retreat easily enough. And once like your Pokemon get damaged, you just 1 attachment, just pick them up. I mean, they're basics, right? I mean, I don't know. I think it's pretty good. And then I also put Lurantis down there as well, so you can like buff that damage to the 180s, 200s. Yeah, I don't know. I think it could be a great deck on its own, just as being its main attacker with Lurantis, or like you could throw it into a Leafeon deck as like a 1 over a 2 of. I don't know. I think it's a pretty good basic. And if you start with it, it's a great card to start with because you're just drawing cards, kind of like Collect on Lapras. So
I was thinking more along the lines of like a 1 of in Vicaray. It's not grass colorless, but it's still pretty good at grass, and it does 130, which is a very relevant number to hit right now in standard.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
I'm not so sure that GX attack is very good though. I think a lot of the time you'd rather just like start Ray, not even use double draw, just use Ray's GX attack.
Yeah, and Ray for sure.
Virizion. I feel like Virizion would just be used for its sensitive blade attack. Yeah. And even then it's like not that great.
Yeah, definitely in Vicaray, Tempest is a lot better. I just think like if it was on its own, Breezeway would be pretty good just to like, it's a really nice healing option. And when you're basics, you just slap them back down. This card only takes 2 energy to do its attack, so.
I kind of feel like Breezeway is a little counterintuitive to like the idea of grass Pokemon and healing, like with that new stadium that heals grass Pokemon, and then like Leafeon, which heals Pokemon.
Yeah.
It just seems kind of strange to remove the Pokemon when you can heal them when they're on your bench anyways.
Definitely.
It's also a very risky strategy to have a bunch of damaged Pokemon on your bench.
Yeah, for sure. Unless you're playing Drifblim. The ultimate shrine counter.
Yeah.
All right. Next we got Moltres. For Fire Energy, Assist Heater, 30 damage. You may attach 1 Fire Energy from your hand to one of your bench Pokemon. And then for Fire colorless, Fire Wing, 90 damage. Now, I rated this 1 more star than Shane did, and reason being is it's a very weak Volcanion replacement for standard. You're not attaching to 2 basic or 2 bench Pokemon, rather you're only doing 1. Though you are doing more damage, that is relevant to note. You're doing 30.
Power.
Yeah, instead of
Power Unit is 20, but I mean like Steam Up.
Yeah, the Steam Up is a thing, but we don't have Steam Up anymore, Shane, so.
I know, but
30 damage, I don't know. It also has 10 less HP, so I don't know. But it's a good replacement for starting fire decks. I mean, the only fire deck that's relevant right now, right, is Ho-Oh. Any kind of like Ho-Oh variant.
Relevant.
It's kind of relevant. Have you seen that new Ho-Oh Reshiram? Yeah, it's good.
Yeah.
It's good.
I have seen it, and we do have Fiery Flint that can be used with Moltres, but I think 30 is not really enough, and a lot of cards in this set actually hit 120 that I think are going to be more popular. And from hand, it's not enough. I feel like I'd rather just use Turtonator's GX attack and attach them all. Like, I don't think it's worth the turn of an attack to do 30 and then attach your hand. And it also doesn't have fighting resist, even though it's like flying type.
So that is kind of sucky, huh?
If it had fighting resist, I could see it being usable, but at the same time, I think I would rather just like Kiawe to a Ho or a Reshiram and then attack with Reshiram or something,
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, Kiawe is always the better choice. I don't know. I think it could see some play. I don't know, but maybe later in the future when there's decks that's like you don't really want a Kiawe, you'd rather just kind of like how Volcanion was back in the day. But we'll see. Next card. So now we have Magcargo GX, the long-awaited GX Magcargo. So the ability Crush Charge. Once during your turn before you attack, you may discard the top card from your deck. That card is a basic energy card attached to one of your Pokemon. And then for Fire colorless, Lava Flow, 50 damage. You may discard any number of basic energy cards from this Pokemon, and this attack does 50 more damage for each card discarded in this way. And then it's GX for 1 fire. Magma Burn GX, discard the top 5 cards from your opponent's deck. So Shane and I both rated this the same. Also something worthy to note, we also get an 80 HP Slugma for standard, so that's cool. Yeah, I mean, what do you think about this, Shane? What do you think about Magcargo GX?
I was actually pretty reluctant to even give it a 2. I don't think it's that good at all. I think it wants to work with the smooth over Magcargo into an engine, but I think that engine would be much too clunky. You're almost better off just using Magcargo with something like a Rangaroo or something else to draw cards, Kukui even.
Yeah.
than you are like attaching an extra energy. I feel like the decks you would want to run this in would be something like Buzzwole, GX, or like some sort of fire deck. But even then, it's just a lot of setup for not a lot of payoff.
That is true. Yeah. It's kind of like a guaranteed max elixir if you have the combo going on. So, I don't know. Yeah, it seemed just like what you said. It seems a lot of work. You do have Victini, though Victini is a Prism Star, so it's just a one of. But you do have some some synergy between Mag Cargo GX's Lava Flow attack and Victini. So I don't know. There could be some use in the future, which is why it's 2 stars. But nothing that strikes out as, wow, this is going to be great. Yeah,
Lava Flow is like 200 for 4 energy and you discard them all. Not very relevant numbers.
I mean, the GX attack could be good in mill decks.
It could, and Smooth Over is good, but
yeah.
I don't think it's worth the slot even in a mill deck.
A 1/1, or well, yeah.
You'd run Smooth Over probably.
You would, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Probably isn't worth it in a mill deck.
For sure. All right, next card. So now we got Suicune, ability Frozen Current once during your turn. Before you attack, if this Pokemon is your active Pokemon, you may have your opponent switch their active Pokemon with one of their benched Pokemon. And then for a water, double colorless, Aurora gain 70 damage, heal 30 from this Pokemon. So, you have Volcanion Prism Star. I don't know why you would ever want to have Suicune, to be completely honest.
Well, Suicune can be used in a non-water deck.
I guess so. Yeah.
You could put a what is it called? A skateboard. You can put in a skateboard on it because it has 1 retreat, and then whenever something of yours gets knocked out, you can put it up as a free retreater. But then it's not a Lysander effect, so it's just an skateboard effect or escape rope effect. So
not even that, because you're do you say escape rope because you're not switching your own.
Just the first
so.
effect, you don't switch your own, but you'd have free retreat. So
yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, if you had the escape board at least. I don't think it's good.
It's one of those cards where it's like, is it worth the 1 slot in your deck? And it's like,
usually not.
Yeah, and if it's a water deck, you're using Volcanion Prism Star anyways. So
yeah, if you really want like free retreat, you're better off just running like other things with 1 retreat cost. That would be more consistent. Like if you were playing Malamar, you'd have Inkaves or
even just throw in Tapu Koko.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, Suicune, I don't see it getting any play. But anyways, next card. Primarina. Okay, so this is a fun card. Ability Harmonics. When you attach an energy from your hand to one of your Pokemon, you may attach up to 2 energy instead. Ignore this effect if the energy is attached with an attack, ability other than Harmonics, or a trainer. And then for a water, double colorless, Hypno Splash, 80 damage, your opponent's active Pokemon is now asleep. So, I don't think it's good. Shane tried to talk me into it, saying, hey, you can Archie's it. And I'm like, I don't know. I don't think so. I don't think it's good. I mean,
it's playable. I don't think it's good, or else I would have given it a little bit more stars. But I think you could play it in like a turbo build, turbo Archie's, some sort that's not water based.
Yeah, I mean,
like Buzzwole.
I probably would give it. I could give it 2 stars because it does need testing. But the only reason I gave it a star is I'm like, I mean, most decks, I mean, what build, right? So you have to use Archie's for this thing. So what my mindset goes to is like, okay, you have Blastoise for the water decks, right? And that's just infinite water energy. But you're saying using this in another deck. But for another deck, you have to make the spot for this and Archie's, right? And would you play just a 1 of this, or would you play 2? Because if this is your strategy, right?
Probably 2.
You probably would run 2. So that's 3 cards in your deck. And that's, what archetype do you know that's like, you can have 3 slots in there and adjust the deck so that it's still consistent enough that this works. Like, because for this type of deck, right? This is good in like Ray. This is good in like Buzz. Those decks don't have much wiggle room in Expanded.
They don't have wiggle room because they have other forms of acceleration. So if you were to play Buzzwole Archie's Primarina, you could cut out your B-String, you could cut out Max Elixir entirely, and then just make a more consistent, like, Archie's based deck. And it would be essentially like you have a B-String every turn. It's not nearly as good, of course, but it's the option every single turn. Like, you can attach to Lycanroc with it, which is really, really strong. Being able to immediately attach to.
Yeah, I mean, but the thing is, though, the gotcha is that it has to be in your hand, so you have to have the energy in your hand, whereas B-String's like awesome, like right from the deck. You don't need to worry about that, but yeah.
And if you changed your deck a lot to be more of a Primarina engine, then your opponent would be able to like Lysander at Primarina and knock it out.
Yeah, definitely.
So, I don't think it's good, but I think it's playable.
Yeah,
and expanded.
Yeah,
not in standard.
There could be some pretty good. Yeah, there could be some pretty good testing in expanded for sure. All right, one more second. I'm gonna double check that everything's okay. I heard a beep sound, just making sure everything's still recording. Yep, we're good. Cool. Going back. All right, next card. All right, Zeb Strika. I love this card. Ability, Fast Break. Once during your turn before you attack, you may discard your hand and draw 4 cards. And then Lightning, Colorless, Headbolt, 60 damage. Very vanilla. Vanilla, same thing. Fast Break, Reese's. Gotcha. We both rated this a 3-star card. I think it's generally pretty good. It's like a mini Sycamore almost. And these guys stack, I believe. So like if you have 2 on the bench, I mean, discard your hand, draw 4, man. It's good. I think it definitely will see play somewhere, sometime. I think there was a Japanese deck that won like a pretty big tournament over there, and it was running a 2/2 line of this. So I can't remember which one it was. I definitely saw it though. And we need discard your hand, draw cards like that. It's really good. I mean, there's not much I could say about it. I mean, it's pretty good, and it's like throwing in an Octillery line and like the decks that ran Octillery, you know. I don't know. Yeah. Do you have anything to add?
My main gripe with it is that it's only 4 cards. And so if you're just seeing hands of 4 cards, there's not a lot of combo opportunity there. So you'd have to be playing a deck that has a lot of just ditchable cards.
Yeah.
Something like Buzzwole or Toad. But like you wouldn't play this in expanded. You'd play this in standard. So you'd have to find a deck that has like not a lot of combos and a lot of droppable cards.
Yeah.
Or things that work well with the discard.
Yeah. Yeah, but in some form or way, this card will definitely see play. No doubt about it. But
just because we don't have enough draw options in standard, I feel like it'll see play just for that reason alone.
For sure. There just has to be a little bit more testing to see like what decks are perfect for it. Yeah. All right, next card. All right, so we have Zeraora GX, ability Electric Zone. Each of your Pokemon that has any lightning energy attached to it has no retreat cost. For lightning, colorless, Plasma Fist, 160 damage. This Pokemon can't attack during your next turn. Sounds very familiar to that Buzzwole GX there. And then it's GX attack, full voltage GX. Attach 5 basic energy cards from your discard pile to your Pokemon in any way you like. So, I mean, I straight up give it 4 stars immediately. Like, it's, especially with this electric power item card we're going to talk about later. I mean, you can scale this damage pretty high. And even without that, with Choice Band, you're hitting the relevant 190. And it's very similar to Buzzwole, right? So, I mean, it doesn't have that nice jet punch, which Buzzwole has. But one thing that does really hurt it, though, that is worthy to mention, is it does have that fighting weakness. So Baby Buzz is going to smack this thing hard in the mouth. But yeah.
Real bad.
Yeah, really bad. Like, right, just Deancey Choice Band, that's 180, and then Shrine, just bye-bye.
Yeah. I think the best thing about it is actually its ability.
Yeah.
You can easily put this in like Vicaray or any sort of like Vikavolt build and give all of your Pokemon free retreat. And that's a pretty big problem that Rayquaza decks currently have, or Vikavolt decks. Because everything has like 3 retreat.
Yeah.
So it's decent.
And then you can put you could basically just switch out that everybody plays like one switch or one escape rope or something. Just throw this in there instead.
For sure, yeah. Much
Yeah.
more consistent.
Yeah, I think it has lots of uses immediately, and it could be a great deck on its own. So there you go.
It could.
Yeah, definitely. The full voltage GX is interesting. It's probably like a late game, just like Turtonator, right? So
It doesn't even have to be late game. You could play Turbo. Like if you're playing Ray or something, find a way to discard energies very quickly. You can just full voltage. I mean, I know it's like very similar to Latios Prism or Latios Prism. I always forget.
yeah,
I think
Latios,
it's
the one that
Latios.
does 2 or one energy each dragon.
Yeah, that's Latios. Okay. I don't know. It's okay. We don't really have a way to recover those items.
Yeah.
What are they called again?
Electric power.
The lightning. Electric power. Yeah, we don't have a way to recover those quite yet.
Yeah, next set.
So,
Yeah. But
so I don't know if it'd be very good as an attacker on its own. Only doing 160.
Yeah. Well, 190 with the band. It's not bad.
It's not bad. I guess it does well with the stadium too, so it attacks for 2. But you also don't really have a way to accelerate to it other than what? Magnezone. But then it kind of your GX attack not very good.
Vika. Well, Vika. If you're saying you put it in Vika Ray, just a Vika Volt attachment. Then...
I feel like you put it in Vika Ray not to attack with it.
Right,
though. You
right.
put it in
It's an
for the
option.
Ability. Yeah, it's an option for sure.
Yeah, I think though you would really have to like mess around with the energy counts in Vika Ray if you put if you wanted to have the GX attack here, full voltage GX, to get its bigger use, right? Because it's only it's not lightning, it's any energy.
It's basic.
So yeah, I guess you could just keep the same energy. So I don't know. Yeah, it's got lots of uses already out of the gate. It's gonna be a good card.
Yeah,
So.
it's good, but it's not like very defining.
Yeah, definitely.
Really.
Yeah, not a 5-star.
Yeah.
Okay, next card. Dialga. So this could be a good card. Definitely. So metal, colorless, time down, 60 damage. De-evolve your opponent's active evolved Pokemon, put the highest evolution card into their hand. And then for metal, double colorless, Power Blast, 130. Discard 1 energy attached to Dialga. So this is like really inherently good, especially with my thought process is because we're getting Professor Elm this set, which we'll talk about. Most of these decks these evolution decks are going to be running the 60 HP basic Pokemon. So you just time down a Zoroark and that's an instant knockout for you. So I don't know. I think it could be pretty good, though. What sucks is that 2 attachment with the metal double colorless energy hurts a little bit. It doesn't have 130 HP, which is nice. It doesn't have that 120 that sucks for a lot of these basic non-GX Pokemon, but you know what I mean. So Shane, do you want to add anything to that? I think that was pretty much the whole relevancy to this card. But
I think if the meta stays pretty stagnant after Lost Thunder releases, then that could be good. But I think a lot of the cards in this set are going to change up the meta a little bit, at least for standard.
Yeah.
So time down could be very good against Zoroark, obviously.
This card absolutely destroys Gardevoir, though. Like Gardevoir, like
true. It does for sure.
Destroys Gardevoir.
But I don't know how relevant Gardevoir is.
No, definitely, yeah. Probably, if Gardevoir does come up, my boy Time Down's coming out of the gate.
Yeah. But the thing with Metal right now is that you have to run it with Magnezone to have any sort of relevancy.
Yeah.
And 130 is a good number to hit. And 60 and de-evolve is very strong. So I think you could definitely play like one copy of this in a Magnezone deck. But I don't think it makes Magnezone decks much better than they are currently.
No, yeah, you can't be all in on Dialga because if you run into something like Buzzwole, then it's not good at all. Yeah, all right. Next card. Now we got Genesect GX. Ability, double cassette. You may attach up to 2 Pokemon Tool cards to this Pokemon. If the ability stops working for whatever reason, just discard 1 tool. Yeah, Metal Colorless, Blast Bomb, 130 damage. And then GX attack, Metal Colorless, Break Buster, 190 damage. Don't apply resistance for this damage, or this attack's damage. So, I mean, I think it's very, like, yeah, it's cool you can attach 2 tool cards, but I think it's kind of vanilla right now. I mean, there's not really cool, like, tool cards, really, rather than just Choice Band. But, and then you only have so many tool cards, right? So, I don't know. I don't know how to feel about this card. I mean, it's a 3 attachment as well, 3 energy attachment. I mean, it's gonna see some play in like metal decks for sure as a basic attacker. I don't know. I think it will see play. There'll be a lot of testing with this card for sure. But yeah, what do you think, Shane?
I think Field Blower makes this card pretty irrelevant.
Yeah.
One Field Blower removes both of your tools. It's just if you, I don't know if you played back in the day. Back in like 2015, we had an Entei that had an ancient trait that allowed it to have 2 tools.
Yeah, from Ancient Origins.
And it was pretty decent. But its biggest gripe was that it, lost really bad to tool removal.
Yeah.
And when something got knocked out, you only really had access to so many tools because you used 2 per Entei.
Yeah. Yeah, 1 Field Blower knocks off both of your tools, and you're like, well, okay.
Yeah.
But, I mean, do you really need two tools all the time, right? Because, like, you'd probably attach 1. No, you probably do need 2 every time. Because you want to be hitting...
Put 2 skateboards on it for your treat.
There you go. I could see this maybe being messed around with Rotom a little bit. I don't know. I could see it.
Really?
If they discard your tools, then there's more tools for your Rotoms. So.
Yeah, but like, how would you accelerate onto this Genesect to attach with it and make it a threat so that they want to discard the tools?
Yeah, I don't know that question myself. I just see double attachment tools, and I see the ability on the Rotom saying tools and discard. I'm like, hey,
I feel like
cards.
Rotom. I've actually like made Rotom a couple times. We have a friend who really likes Rotom, so we've made a couple builds of it. In expanded, you just like Battle Compressor, but
easy,
yeah. In standard, you can use Umbreon EX. Actually, I don't know. No, that's not even usable anymore.
No.
That got rotated. You used to use Umbreon EX. You could like ditch cards from your hand and draw.
Yeah.
Do like a minimal damage, and then now we have, what is it called? Alolan Eradicate GX.
Oh yeah. Yep.
Yeah. So I think that would just be better than Genesect.
Yeah.
But I don't think it makes Rotom good.
I think
either way.
I think this card, if Metal pops off, this card could be really good as a 1-of or something. Or I don't know. But good basic attacker. Yeah,
it has a good GX attack.
It does. It's a big blow up GX attack, so.
That's what Genesect's known for.
Yep. Definitely. Alright, let's go to the next card. Now we've got our first 5-star Prism, or 5-star card. 5-star Prism Star. Yeah, so, and Shane agrees with me. I mean, this card is just busted. It's awesome. It's a 5th Zorua. It's a 5th, or it's, do you play, yeah, you see what I did there? It's, you don't play for, Rockruff usually, but, it's an extra basic, and with this, you can also, put in, like, these texts that I have here on the bottom right. You can throw in, like, a 1-of Alolan Muck in your deck, or a 1-of Zebstrika, like what we were just talking about. It's good. I mean, you don't need to do anything like adding an extra like Grimer or anything. You have your Ditto, so if you really want to use Alolan Muck, there you go. So the ability, if you guys don't know, evolve into anything. I don't really need to read the rest of the text. During your turn, you may play a Stage 1 evolution card from your hand onto this Pokemon and evolve it. And that includes your first turn and the turn Ditto comes into play. So Yeah, it's super good. It's just there's not much else to say about it. It's just another basic, and you can just throw it into any stage 1 deck. It's just good.
Yeah, I think it's really strong. Currently in standard, it's just kind of like an auto include in a lot of stage 1 decks.
Yeah.
But in expanded, I can see you running into a little bit more problems because you'd probably want to run this in Zoroark variants.
Yeah.
And in Zoroark variants, you typically like to muck turn 2 or turn 3.
Yeah.
So if you're mucking, you're shutting off your Ditto Prism Star, and then you can't evolve with it. But then it's still a basic, so it's not really a huge deal.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I think Ditto is really strong. If it had like 30 HP, it would be significantly worse.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. It is fighting week 2, so if you start it and you go first and you can't retreat it, and you're playing against Baby Buzz or Buzz, yikes.
Still good though.
Still good.
Still 5-star.
I definitely. This is probably like the best. Do you think this is probably the best Prism Star card we've gotten?
Probably. It probably is.
Right next to Beast Energy, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, I'd say like in a vacuum, Ditto Prism Star is probably more universally usable.
Yeah. Yeah. For sure. I like it a lot. Okay, let's move to the next card. Sceptile GX. For 1 grass energy, Muck Cut does 60 damage. Discard special energy from your opponent's active Pokemon. Grass, Leaf Cyclone, 130. Move a grass energy from this Pokemon to one of your bench. And for 1 grass energy, the GX attack Jungle Heal. Heal all damage from each of your Pokemon with any grass energy attached to them. And I also put the Grovyle down there, just so you guys, if you guys do or don't know, I'm just gonna let you know the ability says once during your turn you can search for a grass Pokemon, put it in your hand. It's very similar to the Gabite we had long time ago, where it said you can get a Dragon Pokemon anytime from your deck, once per turn. So literally you just get 1 Grovyle up and you have your whole Grovyle line ready to go. Yeah, I mean, I think it's really good. I think it'll be decent. I'm just worried that the reason why I give it 3 stars is I'm worried just because it's a stage 2 deck, there'll be some inconsistencies. Though I'm sure Shane can talk me into giving it another star. Shane, you think it's going to be a great archetype in the next format, or in the next rotation here, or not rotation, once the set drops and becomes official?
When I first saw this card, I thought it was really bad.
Okay.
But now that I've thought about it a lot more, and we've kind of seen how standard is evolving, I think it's very strong for the current meta.
Yeah,
It
because
has a lot of options.
yeah, the format's a lot slower, so
Mm-hmm.
230 HP is nice.
Oh yeah, it's super nice. I think that the Grovyle consistency, if it didn't have it, Sceptile would not be good.
Yeah.
Just straight up, it would just not be good at all. But the Groviles allow you to not run rare candy, and that's just ups your consistency really. And Netball allows you to grab energies, and this is obviously a low energy count deck in the first place, so
Yeah.
it's just very strong. 130 is a great number to hit, and moving your energy is very nice. It allows you to keep your threats, on your board all around.
Yeah.
And I think Acerola is a very strong option in this deck.
Oh yeah.
Because you can Acerola, play down another Grovyle, and then you just search for, whatever.
So would you
If you want.
So if you were to build this deck tomorrow, or today rather, would you run this with maybe a 2/2 line of EV Leafeon, so you can get your Groviles down that turn, and then you have all your abilities to use for your Sceptiles, or what would you do? No?
I would, if I was to run this, I would probably either run it with Elm, because I'm pretty sure that the what is it called, Trico?
Yeah.
Pretty sure that the Trico has 60 HP.
Yeah, the only
one
Trico in the
70.
set. Yeah, the only Trico in the set is 60 HP. So
Yeah, the one with 70 is like super old.
yeah.
So,
Yep.
I think you would either run an Elm build, or you would run one with just a lot of Netball and Nest Ball, and then Ultra Ball.
Yeah.
Because you don't need a lot of search that are for non-basics. You essentially only need to get a bunch of Trico out, and then 1 Grovyle, and then you're good. That's it.
Yeah.
Because then your one Grovyle searches for another Grovyle, that Grovyle searches for another Grovyle, and then that Grovyle searches for another Grovyle, and then next turn you just have 4 Sceptile, and your board is all set up, and you only need to attach 2 energy, and then you have a lot of health, and then there's the new stadium. It has a lot of synergies.
Yeah.
And I think that Muck Cut is good too, being able to discard special energies, because we don't have a lot of recovery for that.
Yeah. Yeah,
But-
for sure. That's 60 damage, discard special energy. Could be good. Could be really good. So.
And I think Jungle Heal will help with the Shrine matchup as well, because you're gonna have like 4 Sceptile on the board, like turn 2 or 3.
Yeah.
You know.
For sure.
So.
It's super consistent for a stage 2. So I mean, I'm actually reluctant to change my rating to a 4-star because I do think this card will see a huge impact on the format. It'll probably become its own archetype very fast. Yeah. I think it did really well in Japan as well, so that's just telling you right there. Yeah, I think it had a really strong showing.
We have Max Potion too in Standard still.
Yeah,
so,
we do.
Yeah, I think Sceptile is really strong, but yeah. I think it can lose to a couple things like Ray, but I feel like Ray is probably going to get phased out a little bit from the meta.
Yeah.
Like big one-shot decks are probably the biggest scare.
Things that can hit 230. No.
Yeah, not a lot of those.
Not a lot, yeah.
They exist.
Yeah, right now mainly though, it's really just 2-shot decks. So. Yeah, I don't know. It's probably is a really good archetype coming up. So, buy 4 when the set drops.
Yeah, probably a good idea.
Yeah, 4/4/4 for everything. All right. Okay, Ninjask, Shedinja. Shane's not a believer.
No.
I think it could see some play. I mean, the ability on Shedinja made me just give it 2 stars for sure. But let's start with Ninjask. The ability Shed Shell. When you play this Pokemon from your hand to evolve one of your Pokemon, you may put Shedinja from your discard pile onto your bench. And then the attack for 1 grass does 40. Flip a coin if heads, does 40 more damage. Ability of Shedinja, Life Vessel. Once during your turn, you may discard all cards attached to this Pokemon and attach it to one of your Pokemon as a Pokemon tool card. And if the Pokemon this card is attached to is knocked out, your opponent takes 1 for your prize. Put 3 damage counters on your Pokemon. I mean, I don't think you'll ever use that. The reason why I think this deck is cool. All right, there's 3 things here. 4 things. So, number 1. Let's get this out of the way. You can run Victini.
Wait. You said this deck. Are you saying Shedinja is a deck?
Yes, I am saying it's a deck.
Okay.
So, the deck would include Victini for that coin flip, whatever.
Wait, is that in Standard?
I think so.
Is it?
I think it was Shining Legends, right? Or, yeah, it's definitely in Standard, the one you can flip.
Oh, yeah, that's right. They did print another one of those.
So you could be hitting 80, 75% of the time, and then... Stop, let me finish. It can hit 110 with Choice Band, okay? 1 grass energy, single prize. It does have 80 HP, that's what's sad. However, once Shedinja is in the discard pile, right? So you only need to evolve your Ninjask, or not your Ninjask, your Nincada into Shedinja, and you can discard it, and you can put it in the discard pile. And then you can attach it to your Ninjask, and your opponent's not taking prize cards. And so you can keep doing this. You can keep doing stuff like Super Scoop Up. I mean, you could run Rainbow Energy, Acerola, but these things are tiny bees. You breathe on them, they die. But the concept is cool, that you can just keep recycling your Ninjasks and Shedinjas, and your opponent doesn't take any prizes. I think it'd be cool. It's a really niche deck. I think it takes a lot to set up.
Run it with Shrine.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. You can run this with Shrine. I mean, dude, Shrine needs to be banned, dude. Because if it makes stuff like this work, it's like, come on, Shrine. Yeah. What are you doing? What are you doing, game?
Field Blower exists. This is not good.
Yeah. Okay. So
I feel like Field Blower and Acerola and Zoroark.
Right now, nobody's playing Field Blower, so this could be good if this came up in this kind of meta. Just keep your eyes healed. I mean, this could be like a fun, like, it's definitely, you could test this and have some fun with it, but
it's the kind of sleeper deck you bring to a league challenge.
yes, I would not bring this past anything but a league challenge. Though actually, you get points for league challenges, so I probably would not bring this to a league challenge. But it's a cool concept, you know. It's pretty cool.
And the art's pretty cool on Shedinja.
Yeah, definitely. Look at him roaming around some desolate land. Okay, I think we've had enough talking about these guys. It's a cool deck. It's cool, but it's not gonna see play at all, sadly.
Yeah.
Okay, we got Giratina. I love this card. For this boy that's popping right behind Mega Gardevoir EX. We'll talk about him coming up next, actually. The ability Torn Door. Once during your turn, if this Pokemon is in your discard pile, you may play it onto your bench and put 1 damage counter on 2 of your opponent's Pokemon. And then for a Psychic Colorless, Shadow Impact, 130 damage. And then you have to put 4 damage on one of your Pokemon. I don't think you'll ever use that attack. It does hit the relevant 130, but nah, I wouldn't use that attack whatsoever. This is really good for decks like Mega Gardevoir and Expanded, where you want to discard your bench, right? So a hypothetical, in a beautiful world, you have Skyfield, you have 4 Giratina, you put them onto your bench. You have the 4 eggs or whatever.
Wait. You don't run Skyfield and Expanded in Gardevoir?
You don't run Skyfield?
You run Dimension Valley to attack for 1 fairy.
Okay. Yeah, I guess so. I mean, if you want max damage, right, you could do the Skyfield and then 2 energy attachments. I don't know what I haven't seen Mega Gardevoir in forever, so I don't know what the build would be. But Skyfield with this thing would be kind of cool, because then you could just you get a huge blow up turn and you're putting 4 damage counter, or no, you're putting 8 damage counters with 4 of them in the discard pile. So I don't know. I think it's a good card in that aspect. And then the Cofagrigus that we're going to talk about. Oh boy, I'm excited for that. I am excited. Do you want to talk about Giratina at all, or do you want to just move on to Cofagrigus?
I thought. Wait, is Cofagrigus next?
I think so.
No, it's not next.
Is it?
Sigilyph is next.
Oh, okay, it's after Sigilyph, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it is.
Okay.
I think Giratina's okay. That ability is very, very strong, but we don't have a lot of cards to use it with.
Yeah.
A lot of good cards. Most of it is just like Gardevoir, Cofagrigus. You could tech one in like Expanded and Zoroark.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's relevant enough. There aren't enough combo cards to utilize with it yet, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure. Okay, next card. Sigilyph GX, ability Mirror Counter. This Pokemon is your active Pokemon and is damaged by an attack from your opponent's Pokemon, GX or EX, even if this Pokemon is knocked out. Put damage counters on the attacking Pokemon equal to the damage done to this Pokemon. And then for a Psychic Colorless, Sonic Wing, 80 damage. This attack's damage isn't affected by resistance. And then Psychic Colorless, Intercept GX, 60 damage times the number of energy attached to your opponent's active Pokemon. And yeah, so Shane, I'm really interested. What do you think? This is going to be its own deck? Do you think it's going to be a tech? Why are you giving it 4 stars?
Okay, I actually have no idea.
Fair enough. You just like it.
No, I know I am giving it 4 stars, but I don't know what kind of deck it's going to be in.
Okay.
I just think that ability is ridiculously strong.
Yeah.
If your opponent knocks it out, 170, they take 170. Like that's very strong.
That's really strong.
It can be shut off by Muck, but it hits Psychic weakness, so it would be able to, kill Muck pretty easily with just a quick Guzma, and it has resistance to fighting and weakness to lightning.
Definitely.
Yeah. So Coco is pretty good against this.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Yeah.
You just with a choice band smack for 100 and then 20 to everything else, and you don't even take any damage back.
Yeah.
But in a meta where Coco isn't relevant, or you're playing against a deck that doesn't have a Coco in it, I think Sigilyph could be very strong. It can essentially set up situations where, your opponent can't knock you out because you'll get 2 prizes and then be able to win the next turn, or
Yeah.
or you're just smacking them for 80 or 110 with a choice band, and that's 2-shot range.
Yeah, it's a very scary card. I haven't seen many people talk about it either. It's super scary. Like, I mean, remember the situations back in the day when Bursting Balloon was really popular, and it's like, dude, I don't even want to hit in this thing. I want to pass, but you can't just pass because this ability is just going to be on all the time. So, yeah, Siglith is pretty dang good. I'm giving it 3 stars now because I just don't, like you said, I can't see whether it's going to be its own deck or if it's going to be an inclusion in a deck. I have no idea. It definitely can be included somewhere, in a lot of places actually, but how the synergy or how it's going to work. I mean, it's got a really nice energy attack cost, psychic double colorless, so.
Oh yeah.
I don't know. It definitely could see some really big play here in the next.
You could run it in Zoro Garb in standard.
Oh yeah.
If you really wanted to, you could.
That would be really annoying for opponents. Really annoying. Yeah. Huh. Yeah, Siglith GX, guys. Get a couple.
Pretty good, yeah.
This is a pretty good card.
Surprisingly good.
Yeah. All right, my boy, Kafagrigus. So good. Just 1 attack. It does have, okay, I'll give you this, Shane. It does have 120 HP, but whatever.
It has fighting resistance.
It has fighting resistance, so. And it's weak to dark, but, Zoroark's going to knock you out anyways, right? Who cares? So, for a psychic colorless, soul juggling, 10 damage, discard as many of your bench Pokemon as you like. This does 30 more damage for each bench Pokemon you discarded in this way. So, this is where the Giratina comes into play. Now, granted, I do want to mention before I start talking about Standard and Expanded, this is way better. This is just a better Mega Gardevoir. You run
Really? You think so?
Oh, yeah, definitely. By a long shot, dude. Like,
It's not 100 plus, though.
It's a 1 prize, and it's I don't know. I think it's really good.
So would you run it with an Expanded? What stadium would you run it with?
I'd have to test between whether I like either D-Valley, Skyfield, or Shrine of Punishment, because Shrine of Punishment does set up really good numbers for you. But I don't know what the stadium would be, quite honestly.
Probably D-Valley, right?
Yeah, I would test first heavily with D-Valley, and then work my way down.
Okay.
But in Standard, running with Shrine, I mean, the numbers are set up for you. I mean, everybody knows how great Shrine is, right? Just that alone's good in between turns. But then you also have your Giratina that you're constantly putting back onto your bench every turn after you discard. So in a perfect world, you have 2 Yan Masks down turn 1. And then you're able to discard your Giratinas in some fashion. Now, you do have, in this deck, you would probably run something like 4 Ultra Ball, 4 Mysterious Treasure, other supporters that discard cards, just ways to get your Giratina in the discard pile. Or if not, you could just always bench them and then have Cofagrigus discard them the first time it attacks, and then that's how you get things going. Though it's nice to get the damage instantly, but whatever, right? Because you're just gonna end up putting them on your bench anyway. So, so you would discard all the Giratinas. Granted, prizes are a thing, so that's annoying. But most of the time, generally, this combo is pretty good. So you discard. Let's say one of them's prize, right? Let's say you're consistently doing 3 Giratinas. Would you say that's fair?
Sure.
Okay, so you have 90 damage plus the 10, so you're doing 100 damage consistently each turn. However, you're also setting up 2 10 damage snipes on the bench wherever you want, plus the shrine damage. So I mean, you see, this is pretty good. It like consistently is hitting this number, and I don't know, I think it's great. And then once one of your Cofagrigus go down, you just slap down another Yan Mask and have an energy attachment attached to it, and you're ready to go. So
I think it's good against Shrine. It's good against current Shrine variants.
Yeah. I mean,
but I think it loses too hard to Zoroark for it to be relevant in Standard.
Yeah, Zoroark is a major problem for it, and that's why you run Weakness Pulsing. No, I'm just kidding. Even though it already hits 120.
Yeah, I don't think Coffer Grease can be good in standard, especially because it doesn't have access to Dimension Valley. So attaching 2 to something that is this weak, I feel like you'll just skip a beat too often.
Yeah.
And either miss an attachment or miss an attack. And I feel like if you're missing an attack in this deck, you're not really setting up your board, and yeah, it's like a avalanche effect, really.
I wonder if like including maybe like a couple Baby Buzz or something, and then like counter energy and like a few. I don't know. It seems a little clunky, but
yeah, it is clunky. And expanded though, you have access to Dimension Valley, but because it doesn't have a lot of base damage, like you'd be knocking like let's say 4 of your bench, and if you're knocking 4 of your bench, you're only doing
130.
130. Yeah, that's not very good numbers in expanded. Even with the Giratina, and you wouldn't have Shrine at that point, but you'd be attacking for 1, and you could use like Rescue Scarf to be able to keep Cofagrigus going.
Yeah.
But
it might be a little bit hype to give it 5 stars. It probably is more of a 4-star card.
And also the archetype just completely gets shut off by Muck.
Yeah.
As well.
Yeah. I think I probably would, if I had to, I'd revise this to a 4-star card because it was just hype for me. Seeing like a really good like combo with this, like setting up the damage and just knowing how strong Shrine is. This card, I have hope for it. I have quite a lot of hope for it, but yeah, Zoroark is a major problem. That's gonna happen.
Zoroark's not going away anytime soon.
Yeah, that's something that this deck, if it tries to perform well, it needs to figure out how to deal with Zoroark. Like,
yeah.
That's the problem. But yeah, Cofagrigus, ladies and gentlemen. All right, now we have Alolan Ninetales GX. Ability Mysterious Guidance. When you play this card from your hand to evolve one of your Pokemon, during your turn you may search your deck for 2 item cards, reveal them, put them in your hand, shuffle your deck. And then for Fairy, Colorless, Snowy Wind, 70 damage. This attack does 30 damage to one of your opponent's bench. It's a good snipe. Don't apply weakness and resistance for the bench. And then Sublimation GX for the same cost. If your opponent's active Pokemon is an Ultra Beast, instant KO. So, honestly, it's good. I put Gardevoir here because it will see play in Gardevoir. It'll make it more consistent because you can get your candies after you, ideally, Gardevoir decks, we start with Alolan Ninetales, you Beacon, you get your Alolan Ninetales Gardevoir GX, or you just get, if you have a way to get Alolan Ninetales, you just get 2 Gardevoir GX, evolve 2 rare candies, bada bing, bada boom. Bring in my Dialga, time down. Here we go.
I feel like in Gardevoir decks, this serves this very similar purpose to Sylveon, except it can be used while you're attacking with Gardevoir.
Yeah.
So it's better in that sense.
Yeah.
But for that first point you had, where you start with full picks and then you Beacon, and you maybe get like a Ninetales and a Gardevoir, and the next turn you play the Ninetales, you get rare candy, and then something else, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's good, but that still like loses to Judge, because if you're Vulpixing for Pokemon that you need to evolve to keep your combo going, I feel like it's very similar to just playing Sylveon.
Yeah.
Being able to play this down on your own turn and not get like judged out of it is still very strong though, and should be considered over Sylveon because of that.
Yeah.
But I could see Ninetales being played in other decks. I've heard some people talking about some sort of revival of Ninetales Decidueye.
Yeah.
Where you run this Ninetales, the other Ninetales, and Decidueye.
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know.
Seems
I don't know how good
city.
it actually be. I think that you mostly play this for the ability, but its attack is pretty good still. 70-30 is
and if you run
strong.
If you run into a big metal problem, right? Their main attacker, well, Metagross actually is a huge problem still, but the what is it? The Duskmane, like if that becomes a problem, you just Sublimation GX. There you go.
Yeah.
So
or Buzzwole GX.
Or Buzzwole GX, yeah. Though usually Gardevoir's pretty good against Buzzwole. You don't really need to worry too much, as once they're set up, anyways.
True.
But
But if you just want to 6-0 a Buzzwole,
oh yeah,
there you go.
I'll take a KO. instead of loading up like 4 energy for infinite force. Oh yeah. And plus, not to mention, like, not many times you're going to be using Twilight GX if you have a Alolan Ninetales. You could, because, I don't know, I think Sublimation GX would be widely more used. Just because Ultra Beasts...
Twilight?
Yeah, because Ultra Beasts are, like, right now, they're, like, all over the place. So.
Yeah, I mean, you could just straight up knock out a Baby Buzz with it, but
yeah.
It's okay.
Yeah.
I think Twilight's one of the best GX attacks to ever exist.
Yeah, Twilight GX is inherently like really good, but I don't know, just to win wise, instant KO. You can't beat that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Ninetales is good. I just don't know if it will replace Sylveon in the current Gardevoir variants, and I don't know if it'll show up in other decks.
It's definitely going to be included somewhere, like right out of the gate. It's going to be tested a lot, so keep your guys peeled. All right, so we have Gardevoir. Shane's not a believer in Gardevoir.
No.
Were you a believer in Gallade?
Back then?
Yeah.
I don't remember. That's so long ago.
Yeah. Well, it's basically Gallade, but I think it's a little bit better. Well, it depends. Fairy Energy, Brilliant Search. Search your deck for 3 cards, any 3 cards. Put them in your hand, then shuffle your deck. For Fairy, colorless, Sensitive Ray, 70 damage. If you play a supporter this turn, it does 90 more damage. So, just like Gallade, but does more damage. It does 160 if you play a supporter. Now, this is really good as a one-of in Gardevoir. As Gallade back in the day when it first was Gardevoir GX first was introduced to us, we all tested with one of Gallade. Soon it became a 2 of Gallade, but Premonition was just too strong with Octillery at the time. Why wouldn't you? Plus Zoroark was a thing. So Gardevoir's in a different situation in this format. I think it's a good one of inclusion, right? It's a good one of attacker. It does 160, 190 with a choice band. And yeah, I think it's worth giving it 2 stars as a one of tech in Gardevoir because it's pretty good as a one of attacker. But what do you have to say, Shane?
I don't think it's worth a slot. And I don't think it's worth rare candying into. I think I'd rather just have Gardevoir GX than this baby Gardevoir. Mm-hmm. Its first attack is not good, and its second attack requires you to have other Gardevoirs on the field to even like power it up to something usable.
Not necessarily. Secret Spring DCE attachment.
Yeah, I'm saying like you need another Gardevoir out to be able to utilize it. And at that point, like, wouldn't you rather just have 2 Gardevoirs in Secret Spring DCE and to do that same kind of damage?
Yeah.
It's a non-GX, but it only has 130 for a stage 2. Yeah. It's just not worth all that effort when Gardevoir has always been based off of how many Gardevoirs can you get out as quick as possible. Now, when you're getting out a baby Gardevoir, you're just setting yourself behind.
Yeah. That's true. I don't know. I love things that hit hard that are not 2 prizes. And that's why I kind of gave it 2 stars, as like it could be an inclusion, though you are 100% right. Wouldn't you rather just get a GX out? So
Gardevoir GX is like one of the best cards in a vacuum like ever printed.
Oh, for
it's
sure.
So strong that I can't. It's hard to like warrant even running anything else.
Yeah, definitely. All right, we got Carbink. For a double colorless energy, Wonder Ray, 30 damage. Prevent all effects of attacks, including damage to this Pokemon, by the attacks of your opponent's Pokemon with abilities during your opponent's next turn. So everything seems to have an ability nowadays. So 4 Carbink deck, 4 Carbink and 1 deck. Let's go.
No way.
This thing actually, like, literally. I mean, it's the worst thing. It's Rayquaza's worst nightmare, right? Because with a choice band, you're doing 120, and they can't hit you.
Worst nightmare, 120.
Well, yeah, but they can't hit you, right?
That's true.
So, like, you're like, oh, what in that deck, besides, I guess, now the Delmise could hit you
Delmise, Shaman, Heracross, Vikavolt.
No, Big Bull has
I don't.
ability.
Oh, that's true. Delmise. Okay, Delmise, Heracross, and or what was the third one I
You said
said?
Shaman, but that doesn't.
Oh yeah, Shaman.
That's only
that's
if you get knocked out, right?
True.
So, yeah,
But
I
it does 120.
Well, if you have a fairy energy attached, you're doing with a choice band, you're knocking out the ray. So,
Well,
boom,
eh,
and you're not getting
but
the
then
Wonder
you're
Ray.
not- yeah, you're not getting the Wonder Ray.
Yeah.
I think it's okay. I
Yeah.
don't think it would replace. I think you would use this typically in like Zoroark decks.
Yeah.
But you wouldn't use it unless you didn't want to use Dedenne for some reason. Like if you didn't want to run Coco and you just wanted to run Carbink, and it was also like a really big ability-heavy meta.
Yeah, for sure.
Where Carbink could actually like save you a turn against a problem dragon deck.
Yeah, I think the card is inherently just annoying to like be against. Though we do have things like Guzma and we have things like Escape Rope that just completely, even if you want to bring it back up some way, like Escape Rope Guzma, the effect's gone, right? So.
Or Lycanroc Guzma.
Yeah, Lycanroc Guzma. It's kind of like if you're going in with this, you got your eggs in one basket almost. So. I don't know. It definitely has a place somewhere. There needs to be some testing.
I don't even know if it's going to be played ever. I think the Dene is just like strictly better than it for like a Rayquaza counter in Zoroark. So you'd have to play this in something that's like not Zoroark maybe. And it's just when you can one-shot a Rayquaza, why wouldn't you do that over two-shotting and hoping they don't like find a workaround on their end?
Oh, definitely. Yeah. All right, guys. Xerneas Prism Star ability Life Road. Once during your turn before you attack when this Pokemon moves from your bench to become your active Pokemon, you may move any number of energy from your other Pokemon to this Pokemon. Pokemon. For 3 fairy energy, Bright Horns, 160. This Pokemon can't use Bright Horns during next turn. This is a great ability. One
Knuckle
prize.
Impact?
Yeah, Knuckle Impact per game. And this ability is really great, right? Because you can use anything like Switch, even manual retreating, just any way this thing comes into the active. It doesn't need to be from your hand onto your bench, right? It's when it's on your bench to become your active Pokemon. You can move the fairy energy to this Pokemon, and there you go. It's a good one prize attacker.
That's pretty much it. It's a good one prize attacker.
I mean, that's all I gotta say. It's gonna be included in in pretty much a lot of fairy decks. So,
yeah, I could see it included in a lot of fairy decks. But currently, like fairy decks are just gonna be like the Rogue Grand Bull and then Gardevoir. But I don't know if you want to play the Xerneas and Gardevoir. It could be good.
It could be, yeah.
But
you have a lot of messing around with Secret Spring, so
yeah. Gardevoir kind of like takes the spot for the best fairy deck, and it has for a very long time. So
yeah,
Xerneas could be good in like other fairy decks. It could also possibly be good in Gardevoir, but
yeah,
not the best. It's just strong. It doesn't do very much other than attack and have a lot of health.
For sure. Yep. All right, Mimikyu GX. Sad times. For 1 fairy energy, Perplex, your opponent's active Pokemon is now confused. Fairy colorless, Cascading Barrage, 10 damage, and this attack does 30 more damage for each damage counter on your opponent's active Pokemon. And then for 1 fairy, the GX is shuffle one of your opponent's bench Pokemon, all cards attached to it, into their deck. Oh boy, I'm as perplexed as Mimikyu's first attack, man. This card could have been so much better. Just wow. Wow. Just a wild wow.
It doesn't even have like an ability like it has in the game.
Yeah, like
or anything.
We were all expecting something like that, but it's just it's a sad time. I have nothing really to say about it. I mean, the GX attack is super meh. The attack Perplex
budget Sylveon.
Yeah, Perplex is so like why?
Yeah.
Like you have Espeon and it does no damage.
Yeah.
And then
it's a basic though, and it has no weakness.
Oh my gosh. And then Cascading Barrage. If maybe Cascading Barrage was 1 fairy, I might say
With one fairy.
yeah, maybe 2-star, but come on. Like,
Or if this is a psychic type Pokemon, you could play it and expand it with Bat.
yeah, if it was psychic type, I think if it was psychic type, it'd be pretty good, honestly.
Play expanded with Bats in Dimension Valley.
Yeah, and it doesn't have a weakness, so
Yeah.
But no,
But it's a GX though still, and like why wouldn't you just play something else that can one shot?
Yeah.
Or one attachment. I don't know. It's I feel like in standard, like you want to play this with Shrine, but then it's a GX. It's with 2 prizes. It attacks for 2 energy. You want to run it with like, I don't know, like Greninja or something. It's just not.
Yeah.
It doesn't work.
It's a bad card.
You could run it with that Giratina. Still not good.
Still not good. All right, so now we got Kecleon, the Keck Master, coming back at you. Ability, I only have one ability up, and it's the one that's bigger on the screen here with the Kukui and Choice Band hiding behind it. The other Kecleon that's over there to the right has the same ability, but it's the unit energy that's Grass, Fire, and Water.
I like how he's actually hiding behind a tree too.
Yeah, yeah. He's like, huh? Where does he get the spotlight? So the ability is if you have the Fighting Dark Fairy unit energy attached, you become all 3 of those types, and your Gentle Slap attack does 60. It's so funny, right? It's like, I think, unit energy, another energy attachment, whatever you're doing with the Choice Band, you're doing 90, and if it's weakness on, say, Array or Zoroark, you're doing 180, but with Kukui, you're knocking out the Zoroarks, and you're already knocking out the Rays with just the Choice Band. So, I mean, it's cool. It's definitely just 2 stars, 2-star card for sure. And then Tongue Slap, 10 damage if your opponent's Pokemon is an evolution Pokemon, does 50 more. So there's that 60 number again. Yeah, definitely 2-star card. It's cool tech. If you're running the unit energies like the Zorogarb list, yeah, I mean, cool stuff.
I don't know if we mentioned that the Tongue Slap Kecleon that does extra damage to evolutions works with the unit energy that's Grass, Water, Fire.
Yeah, I did mention that.
Oh, you did? Okay,
yeah,
cool.
Yeah, so that's only good against the grass or the grass weak, fire weak, and water weak stuff. Which really, I was trying to think what really is, to be completely honest.
Yeah,
I guess maybe
Lycanroc.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Lycanroc.
Yeah. The thing
Sure.
with these cards is that they're pretty splashable depending on like what kind of deck you're running.
Yeah.
Like in Buzz Shrine right now, they're running some of these type of unit energies.
Mm-hmm.
So they're usable.
Yeah.
They're not the best, but they're definitely usable. They could find their place in a meta.
Yeah. These things are going to be thrown in Shrine for sure, especially that Tongue Slap one. So.
Yeah.
Tongue Slap.
Well, they don't run the Fire, Water, Grass, and
Oh, you're right.
yeah. So. I don't know.
1-up tech, smooth over. All right, we got the Smurgs. Your opponent reveals their hand. You may choose a supporter card.
Smurgs.
The Smurgs. You may choose a supporter card you find there and use the effect of that card as the effect of this attack. And then the other attack, flip a coin of tails. This attack does nothing. I don't like it. Shane made me add it. If you see this old Smurgle here from the Undaunted series, you could have used it as an ability if the Smurgle was in the active, but I don't know. I think it's bad. It's just an attack. Like, this is a card that ideally you use in Disruption, right? Like, you just sit there using 2 supporters. However, like, what supporter is in your opponent's hand that you really want?
Draw supporter.
I guess, sure. I don't know.
I don't think it really is that great, but I think it could have a place in disruption decks, like Eric said.
Yeah.
Or other like slower setup decks that like don't want to use something like full picks for some reason.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like it could be placed in a deck and not be the worst option.
Mm-hmm. Though it does have fighting weakness. Keep that in mind.
Yeah.
Poor Smurgs.
Poor Smurg.
All right, now we got Milk Tank. Oh boy.
Oh, it's actually not called Milk Tank, by the way.
Oh, it's Mill Tank. Yeah, you're right. It's Miltank, but I kind of was all
We can call it Milk
milk thing going on here. This is a very milky card.
Yeah.
I wasn't a believer, and then Shane talked me into it. I didn't even have this on the slides. It's actually kind of good in a way. So its attack does 60 damage times the amount of Moo Milk cards you have in your hand. And you don't. At first, when I first read this, I thought you had to discard the Moo Milks when you did this. So it was like a one-time blow-up kind of deal. But no, you can just keep the Moo Milks. And with a Zoroark, you can trade into them. You can mallow into 2 Moo Milks, as Shane put it. So it definitely could be a deck. It could be something. It's 2 stars though. Definitely just 2 stars.
Yeah, you can play Zoro Milk, but other than that, meme deck, Judge kind of destroys it, and that's really rampant in the standard meta right now. And expanded, it just has no place whatsoever.
Yeah. Well, that's why you.
So I don't think it.
That's why you play 4 Mallows.
4 Mallows
to get your Moo Milks.
Oof.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it being 2 attachments, it's just not really competitively viable. But Zoro Milk, the dream.
Yeah.
Like, come on.
Definitely. It's Shane's dream deck. So if you don't know what Moo Milk does, there's the text for it. Flip 2 coins for each head's 30 damage healed from one of your Pokemon.
You don't use.
You would never
card.
use it, but in a situation.
I mean, you can use it. Like, let's say you're done attacking with Miltank for whatever reason. It's pretty late game, like last turn, second to last turn, and your Zoroark's gonna get 2-shot. You could play down all 4 of your Moo Milks and heal your Zoroark back to full.
Yep. Yes, sir. If you hit all of your heads. Well, at least 75%.
Yeah.
All right. Meganium, 1-star card. Ability. This is really the only reason why we're talking about it. Early ripening her herb. Once during your turn, you may choose one of your Pokemon, one of your basic Pokemon in play. If you have a stage 2 card in your hand that evolves from that Pokemon, put that card onto that basic Pokemon and evolve it. So it's a free rare candy once per turn. You have to set this up, number 1.
You have to rare candy into it.
You have to rare candy into it. And then you have to have the pieces in your hand for those basic Pokemon. So it's so much to ask for. And are you really getting the payoff that you want for setting this up? No, I don't think so.
No way.
So that is why, as a 1-star card, maybe somewhere somebody will do something with it. Someone way more smarter than me will do this and find a way to make this shine. But I don't see it. I honestly don't see it. And the attack is
very bad.
Very garbage.
Very
bad. Poor, sad times. There was a time where Chikorita was my favorite starter, and it's just taken it hard on the teeth for a long time. And it's just, I mean, I like they tried to do something, but sad days. Okay, we got Heracross, and it's a very blurry picture because it's the only one I could find. The attack, you could see for a colorless does 20 damage, and then the second attack for a grass and a colorless does 30 damage, and then 90 more if you have a stage 2 in play. I think it has its uses somewhere. In Vika Ray, right, you have your Vikavolt up, and you're doing that 120 that the Shaman, the Rally Back Shaman does. If your opponent was knocked out a Pokemon of yours, it does the extra 90, but Heracross is it's easier because you're not relying on your opponent, so... I think it's a 2-star card just because it can be included in very niche, or not niche. Is niche the right word? I would say just a couple decks at the most. Like Vika Ray is 1, and then Decidueye? I don't know. I think those are really the only decks.
Yeah, I think it's just Vikavolt variants in general. Yeah. But a lot of people I've been hearing like Shaman. It doesn't have that flippity flap attack, which pretty good, but its second attack is much more reliable to get out.
Yeah, has more HP.
It does have a lot more HP as well, but it only hits 120, not 130. You kind of want to hit 130.
Yeah.
Shrine, or for Buzz Shrine.
Yeah,
but it's still very strong. I think it's a good card.
Yeah, it's a strong non-prize attack, or one prize attacker, I should say. So, yeah. Now we have Grand Bull. The attack for 1 fairy energy called Flat Broke. If you have no cards in your hand, this does 130. So there you go. There's that perfect 130 plus the 30 damage. So it's actually doing 160. So Shane, go ahead and say what you were saying earlier about the Japanese deck.
I heard it did well in Japan with Makargo and Oranguru. Other than that, I don't really know much about the deck.
Yeah.
To be honest.
So you can pretty much just like keep your hand to like 3 or whatever, put an Ultra Ball on top or whatever. I mean,
something. I don't know. There's some sort of puzzle piece you put together there to make it so you can flat broke every turn.
Yeah. But I don't know. I think it's okay.
It has 130 in dark resistance. It's always good.
That's something, yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Then again, my Dialga just comes by and just smacks in the face with Time Down.
Yeah, we mainly play expanded, so like looking into these standard cards can sometimes be a little bit more.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's a little bit
at least
of work.
cards like this, where it's like more puzzle based.
Yeah,
we're not really looking into it as much.
Definitely. Good note. Good note. All right, we have Lost March. This is probably one of the most talked about, hyped archetypes of this set. If you don't know what Lost March does, I mean, I have a lot of text here on the screen. I have a lot of cards on the screen. But I'll just go right through it because for those that are just listening in or whatever, they're not looking at the screen. I'm just going to read it anyways. I'll go fast. So the Spin Arc for 1 grass energy, the attack. Your opponent's active Pokemon is now poisoned and paralyzed, which is cool. And then you get to put that Pokemon and all cards attached to it into the Lost Zone. So it's great. Ability of the Skiploom says, once during your turn, you may search your deck for a Jumpluff and switch it with this Pokemon and place this Pokemon and all cards attached to it into the Lost Zone, then shuffle your deck. So that means not only are you putting Skiploom into the Lost Zone, you're putting the Hoppip that's underneath it into the Lost Zone. And then the ability of the Trumbeak, once during your turn before you attack, if this card is in your hand, you may place it into the Lost Zone. If you do, look at the top card of your opponent's deck, then return it to the top of your opponent's deck. If the card is a supporter, put it in the Lost Zone. So that second part of that ability, I was like, you know, even just the first part, right, is helping your cause for Lost March. But then they give you this awesome, like, second piece. It's like, hey, if it's a supporter, put that supporter in the Lost Zone. Get rid of that. So it's like, huh, cool, thanks. and you know what your opponent's top deck is too, by the way. So
yeah,
pretty cool. And then the actual attack, Lost March, it's just like Night March, 20 damage times the number of Pokemon that are in your Lost Zone, excluding the Prism Stars. That's okay. But yeah, so ideally you're attacking with your Spin Arcs early. You're setting up your Skiplooms, being able to discard them, and then using Trumbeak's ability that's in your hand. Don't even need to play any Picky Pecks. The thing that I'm worried about, Shane has this as a 5-star, and I would agree with him. But the HP of so your only 2 attackers are Not 2 and Jumpluff, right? Mm-hmm. And the HP is worrisome for me. I don't think. I mean, then again, Night March was a problem in the past. You can use Marshadow, though. Marshadow GX is something you can use for Not 2 if he's in the discard pile. So you do have 3 attackers, 3 different types. I don't know. It seems like a dream. I'm leaving it as 4 stars right now until I test it, because it might be too good to be too good to be true kind of situation. Though everything lines up to saying this is going to be a great 1 prize attacking deck. And I really love myself some 1 prize attacking decks. I love Vespiquen. I love Night March before Karen came out. And that's the thing. You can't get Karen in this deck. Lost Zone is in the Lost Zone. So
or Oricorio.
Or Oricorio. That is another good plus to this. So,
but it doesn't set up as fast.
It does not set up as fast. You kind of just have to hope on hitting your Trumbeaks and hitting your Skiploom line.
In your mixers.
Which we will talk about.
This archetype would not be good without Lost Mixer. That card is amazing.
Yeah.
So in standard, I think this deck might take the meta by storm a little bit.
Yeah. I think it'll have to be countered some way.
Yeah, I think I've heard in Japan that they're already finding ways to counter Lost March.
Okay.
But I still think that Lost March is very strong.
Oh yeah.
I think they're using Ultra Necrozma's GX attack to do like 60 to everything on the bench,
Ooh.
and then like try to knock out all their jump lefts and natus in like one hit.
Ooh, that's good.
But jump left does have fighting resistance.
Yeah.
Which is pretty good. And then natu hits Psychic, which is a good typing. Grass is a pretty good typing with Zorak, Lycanroc. And then you can use Marshadow GX to deal with Zorak GX.
Yeah, Zorak Lycanroc is going to take a back seat once this deck comes into play, for sure.
Probably. Yeah. But the deck, you really need Lost Mixer to get your Pokemon in the discard or in the Lost Zone.
Yeah.
I'm not sure how good Spinarak actually is. I don't even know if you would run Spinarak. I haven't really made a build for this yet.
Yeah.
But in standard, I feel like it could be good. In expanded, you have access to Clef Key.
Yes,
right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
That Clef Key, you can attach it to your Skiploom.
Yeah.
And just discard 3. And you only really need 10 to 11 in your discard.
Yeah. Yep. Broken.
Be able to one-shot everything. Yeah, for 1 energy attachment, it's pretty strong.
It's pretty broken. Yeah. You can't actually see on the Natu. This is a mistake on my part. It's a DCE for Natu, so I should mention that.
Yeah. So you run like DCE and Grass.
Yeah. I mark my words. I think if this deck pops off, like it will, I think Ho-Oh will be a really great deck to combat this. Yeah. Yeah.
Why?
Mark my words, man. Kiawe turn 1. You can do 50 anywhere.
Oh my god.
So you can start.
I don't think that's gonna help.
And if they start your Marshadow, you knock out the Marshadow, and you just need to take 3 more prizes.
No.
Yeah,
no.
I'm telling you. Reshiram.
Kiawe Ho-Oh, it's not a counter to Lost March.
I'm telling you, dude. Mark my words. It's gonna be good.
I think Spread is the counter to Lost March because they just set up a lot of like these really low HP Pokemon, and then I think if you're running like something like Malamar Shrine and you run the Shining Arceus, put 4 energy on that, and then you're 30, and then Coco Spread once, like you're knocking out everything.
Yeah, Spread is the answer, 100%. Yeah. Okay. Oh, can be good. Anyways, that's it for Lost March. I don't have anything else to say.
Yeah, me either.
All right. Shuckle. I have more hope for Shuckle than Shane. The ability Protective Pot. Prevent all damage to this Pokemon by your opponent's Pokemon with 2 or less energy attached to them. That's really the main reason I want to talk about this, but I will finish up the card for colorless energy, triple poison. Your opponent's active Pokemon is now poisoned. Put 3 damage counters instead of 1 on that Pokemon between turns. And then same energy cost for the GX attack, Wrap GX, 40 damage. Your opponent's active Pokemon is now paralyzed. This is a really good card in general, just to like stall out your opponent to mill and disrupt. It's a really good card for that. It sucks that it's 2 prizes, but you got Zorak there for decks like an expanded that just run the DCE. They don't run anything else. It's annoying to attach double DCE to a Zorak. But
especially if you're disrupting.
So you have E-hammers and all that fun jazz. So I think it has it has definite placement in disruption decks. So that's why it's a 2-star. But anywhere else, it's hot trash. So
I don't think it even has space in disruption decks, to be honest.
As a one-off?
That ability I don't think that ability is good enough. Muck exists to shut it off. Guzma exists to go around it.
Yeah.
Lycanroc, I don't know. Like your Zorak Lycanroc's the most popular variant right now. You can just attach 1 fighting, DCE, and then knock it out.
Yeah.
It doesn't hit for anything relevant, so you can't run it in like a slower deck that just tries to beat decks like Zoroark and maybe Baby Buzz, Shrine. Like it's it's too slow. It doesn't do enough for the amount of stall it gives you.
Yeah, I agree. Yep. I don't know. It's a card that could be included. It can set up annoying situations, but yeah, I agree with you there. There's a lot of things that can counter it, and it's pretty easy. Like, oh hey, I can just muck, or oh hey, I can just use Lycanroc. If you're all in on Shuckle, then it's a problem. But I think Shuckle can be good as an addition to Disruption, in a way.
I could see it, but I honestly don't think that it will ever be played in a deck that does well at it.
Okay. Yeah, fair enough.
Calling it. Making that call.
Fair enough. Fair enough. I would probably agree with you. Celebi Prism Star. Yeah. Time Warp for a colorless energy. You can play this in any deck. Choose any number of your evolved Pokemon in play. For each of those Pokemon, remove the highest stage evolution and put it in your hand. So right off the bat, the first thing I thought of was like, oh, Raichu. No, It's coming back. It's coming back.
It's a Prism Star, though.
It is a Prism Star. That's the good thing about it. Which, once the Prism Star is gone, they can't do the strategy anymore. However, they can keep blocking you with the Evo Shock. If you can't get around it, it can be kind of a problem. And then you also have the Grid Ninja GX deck. You can keep doing Shuriken Flurries. So, I don't know. It's there. It's 2 stars.
It's 2 stars because it's a meme deck.
Yeah.
Like, it's a Prism Star.
Yeah.
So, as soon as your opponent plays Guzma Lycanroc in the same turn, you just lose. That's never a good way to go out.
Yeah, Celebi, not that good, but hey, 2 stars. That's all I really gotta say about it.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Blacephalon GX. I'll let Shane talk mostly about this, but I'll read the attacks. Fire, Bursting Burner. Your opponent's active Pokemon is now burned and confused. 2 Fire Energy, Mind Blown. 50 damage. You may send any number of Fire Energy attached to your Pokemon in play to the Lost Zone. This attack does 50 damage times the number of cards sent in this way. And then for 1 Fire Energy, the GX attack says discard one of your prize cards. If that card is an energy, attach it to one of your Pokemon. So I actually really love that GX attack.
It's so good.
It's like they took Kartana and was like, what if it's an energy card? You can attach to your Pokemon.
Yeah.
Though you are discarding it, it's not you're taking it into your hand. But who cares? I don't know.
Yeah, it doesn't matter that much. I mean,
yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah.
I think Blacephalon is very good. It's doing extremely well in Japan.
Yeah, it is.
But the synergy is it exists. It exists with Naganadel.
Yeah.
That Naganadell's ability allows it to pull a fire energy from the discard and put it onto Naganadel.
Yeah.
And then you can discard it with Blacephalon. You only have a limited amount of attachments there because every energy goes into the Lost Zone that you use to attack with.
So you got to be really smart.
Yeah, but I think Blacephalon's kind of set up. This archetype is kind of set up to take prizes really fast. Its GX attack allows you to just take a prize, and then you typically want to use Mind Blown to knock out GX Pokemon.
Yeah.
And Naganadel is a pretty good attacker against Shrine.
Yeah,
because
definitely.
It's psychic.
Yeah.
And it can accelerate to itself, and its attack is actually surprisingly good.
Yeah.
It does 80 and then 80 more if your opponent has 3 prizes remaining.
Yeah.
Or if you have 3 prizes remaining. I don't remember.
I think that's your opponent, I believe. We'll go to the card.
We'll go to it later. But anyways, its attack is surprisingly good.
Yeah.
So if you imagine like a board setup, you have a couple Blacephalon out and a couple Naganadel. That's all you really need. And then you attach an energy for turn. You attach a couple from your discard with Naganadel, and then you just use Blacephalon's attack to blow up something and take 2 prizes.
Yeah, definitely.
And then you can burst GX for another prize, and then like let's say you're on 3 prizes or your opponent's on 3 prizes at that point, then you can just I think it's when you're on 3 prizes. I don't remember though. I'm just gonna look it up.
Okay. Yeah, I like this card a lot. I think it's gonna have a lot of problems with Lost March. I think it will.
Yeah, for sure. It takes a pretty hard hit to
Yeah.
hard.
Because-
It is when you're at 3 prizes. So
Yeah.
if you use that logic, you use Blissephalon to take a 2 prizer
Yeah.
with Mind Blown, and then you burst GX. You take 1 prize, and then you're at 3, and then you can use Naganadel to do 160 without a choice band.
Yeah.
It's a pretty strong non-GX attacker, and then you can use Blissephalon again for your final prize or whatever,
Yeah.
And its first attack that confuses and burns is pretty good. It's an assured 20 in confusion,
Definitely.
and it's a basic too, so you have a lot of room for energy in this deck.
Yeah.
I think it's pretty good.
Yeah. I don't think it's bad at all. I think it's great.
Yeah. If it wasn't doing well in Japan, I would not rate it 5, but
Yeah.
it's doing.
Yeah, fair enough. I rated it 4 just because, I'm uncertain over here, seeing how it's going to do. I definitely think it's going to be a great archetype. Top tier, maybe. We'll have to see. Our format's a little different, right, than theirs, but
Not by much.
not by much. The decks are certainly different, the way they have their tiers and our tiers, but yeah. Blissephalon GX, good card. Delibird, happy delivery. Choose any number of your bench Pokemon without any Pokemon tool cards attached to them. Search your deck for that many Pokemon tool cards attached to one each of your chosen Pokemon, and then shuffle your deck. I'm just gonna say this right now. We're gonna get out of the way. It's gonna be great for tool drop Pokemon. There is a tool drop card that's coming back into standard. I don't remember which one it was. Do you remember, Shane?
Dewblade.
Dewblade, that's what it is. Yeah, so you're gonna have a Delibird Dewblade deck in the future.
That's not good.
Yeah, but it's not good because, right, Field Blower's the thing. So
Yeah, and it's only does 30 times the amount of tools. Like, if you're relying on your side of the field, you're not doing that much damage for a DCE, and it has too low of HP, and it's a stage 1. It's just not worth all the investment.
you're just blowing up one turn, basically. So
Yeah.
anyways, I don't want to talk about Delibird anymore.
Wait.
What?
You could run that Genesect in Delibird Dewblade.
Oh, you
and attach
could. Start your Delibird. There you go. 2 bands. Oh, Field Blower. Sorry.
I still don't think it's good,
No,
but
yeah.
like, you can have a lot more damage output for a DCE.
Yeah, for sure. All right. Suicune GX ability, Phantom Wind. Once during your turn before you attack, if this Pokemon is on your bench, you may shuffle this Pokemon and all cards attached to it into your deck. Love that ability. Water, Colorless, Cure Stream, 120 damage during your opponent's next turn. The defending Pokemon's attacks do 30 less damage. Water, Colorless, the GX attack, 150 damage. Switch this Pokemon with one of your bench Pokemon. I mean, the ability is what I like the most about it. Effectively, if you're using Cure Stream over and over again, you have 210 HP, which is nice because you take 30 less damage. I like it because it's like a really good shrine counter, right? You're like, oh, I'm getting too much racked up on damage. Back into the deck. Though it's kind of hard to build up. Though you do have Aqua Patch, and now you have the Quagsire, so you could keep the energy.
Yeah.
So you got
That's how you play this.
the Quag. I mean, I'm saying it could be pretty good, but
Suicune Quagsire could be really good.
Yeah.
I think.
yeah,
I
for
think
sure.
it could be really, really strong. Being able to just shuffle and search, you just have to search for another Suicune again.
Yeah.
And essentially, if you get out two Quagsires, who's going to be able to knock out both of them?
Yep.
And you can just reshuffle over and over again. Every time you Aqua Patch, it's just a +1 energy on your board.
Oh yeah.
Essentially, because of Quagsire.
And then Brooklet Hill is a thing, so this is just a constant, consistent engine. I gotta test this. This is gonna be good.
Yeah, I think I almost gave it a 4-star, but I didn't really make a list before coming into this or test anything with it.
No, me neither.
It sounds very, very strong.
Yeah, on paper,
It's definitely super good.
On paper, it sounds really good.
Yeah.
There's just definitely gonna be some testing to be had with that, but yeah. I put Greninja in here because it's similar to the Haze Slash, where you can shuffle everything into your deck after using it. But this is an ability which is super sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there we go. Ampharos, 1-star card. Ability, Invisible Flash. Once during your turn, you may put 2 lightning energy from your hand into the Lost Zone. If you do, leave your opponent's active Pokemon paralyzed, and for 2 lightning, this attack does 50 damage to 2 of your opponent's Pokemon. Don't apply weakness and resistance to the bench Pokemon. Blah, blah, blah. There's not much I want to say about this, but I do want to say something in regards to the next card. Did you want to say anything, Shane?
With Ampharos?
Yeah.
I don't think it's good. That's all I really want to say about it.
Definitely not.
Rip Ampharos again.
Ampharos. Now,
hopefully the next one is somewhat decent, the GX.
it is a little bit decent. It is a little
It's
bit.
better than this, that's for sure.
Oh, yeah. Now, the reason why I want to talk about the next card with this is if you played that Ampharos with this Raikou, there is some merit here. So for a lightning, colorless, lost voltage for 30 damage, it does 30 damage, and if you have any lightning energy in the Lost Zone, it does 90 more damage. So there's some synergy here.
It's only 120 though, and it's for 2 attachments.
And it has 120 HP and fighting weakness.
Which
is why both of these cards are a 1-star card, but there's synergy to be had. So
yeah,
all right.
There is synergy there.
We've got Unknown Shenanigans, 1-star card.
Yeah.
1-star cards. So each of these all have the same attack for 10 damage and a psychic, but the abilities are all different. So working from top to bottom, we got damage once during your turn. If this Pokemon is your active Pokemon, your bench Pokemon has a combined total of at least 660 damage on them, you may choose to win the game. How fun.
You may choose.
Yeah, you may choose. You can say,
Nah.
not this time, man. Hand. Once during your turn, if this Pokemon is your active Pokemon, you have at least 35 cards in your hand. You may choose to win the game. And then missing once during your turn, if this Pokemon is your active Pokemon, your opponent has at least 12 supporter cards in the Lost Zone, you may choose to win the game. So there are strategies that have been floating around ever since these cards were revealed, because winning the game is cool. That's the point, right?
Yeah.
You pretty much want to win. So there are strategies, but they're like Exodia strategies, right? Like beyond Exodia. So,
well, not like turn 1.
not turn
not
one.
like turn 1.
No,
yeah.
for sure no. But yeah, go ahead, Shane. You had a shenanigan you wanted to talk about.
Okay, so damage unknown, that sucks. It's not good. 66 damage counters is way too much. No matter what you're playing, really. It's too risky to have that much damage on what would have to be not stage 2s, but GXs, 2 prizers.
Yeah.
That it's just not viable.
Definitely.
Missing 12 supporters. You could play this with like the Slow King from this set
And Trumbeak.
and Trumbeak, but it's not gonna win you any game, to be honest.
Yeah.
12 supporters is a lot. That's like every supporter your opponent plays into the last zone.
Yep.
It's just not really going to happen. And then Hand is probably the most viable out of all of them.
Yeah.
But it's still a 1-star. I'd consider the others a 0-star. So 35 cards in your hand is somewhat doable, but it's very difficult. You consider, your prizes, that's 6 cards out of your deck. You consider your hand of 7 has to have at least 1 basic in it, and it's not going to be unknown, hopefully.
Yeah.
And then the deck idea that I had for this initially is Zoroark and expanded. So you play Zoroark Hand, and you don't build your deck to take prizes or anything, but you kind of play it off as if it was a regular Zoroark deck. So it's almost like it's a prize. You run Chorus and Skyfield, and you essentially want to set up your board state where you have a bunch of Zoroarks out, and you run like 4 eggs, and you you run 4 Whitney and 4 Chorus, and you just chorus for a lot of cards. You trade with your eggs into a lot of cards, and then if your opponent doesn't realize what you're doing, and they don't shuffle your hand, or if they're not able to shuffle your hand in that turn, then essentially you'll be able to either battle compress out your Whitneys or whatever, and then use Whitney, draw 7, trade, and then with egg, and then the game's over.
And I win.
and then you just play down hand and put it in the active with the float stone, and you win. So it's essentially a 2-turn KO win if your opponent can't like shuffle your hand in.
Yeah.
But that 2-turn win isn't going to happen on the second turn.
Yeah.
Or the third turn.
Definitely.
It'll probably happen on like the 4th turn at best.
Yeah, and that's if your opponent doesn't play N, which is
It doesn't end your anything with your hand really. There's a lot in expanded.
It's super lol meme deck. It's great, but
it's possible.
It's possible. That's the key thing here.
You can win games with it.
Yeah.
Winning a best of 3, probably not.
No. Oh, you play that? Okay, I'm gonna play all my ends after every single turn.
Pretty much.
All right. All right, we've got Wobbuffet. So ability, Shield Tail. As long as Pokemon is on your bench, each player's Prism Pokemon can't attack and has no abilities. And then its attack, Psychic, Colorless, Knock Away, 30 damage, flip a coin if heads, its attack does 30 more damage. Now, I put the 2 Prisms that I thought were 2 Prism Pokemon, or I guess I probably should have put Latios as well, but that are most widely used. Latios isn't actually widely used anymore, which is weird.
It is, yeah.
Yeah. But so their abilities are completely shut off and their attacks are completely shut off. Yeah. I don't know. I think it's very niche. I don't think it deserves a spot in decks as a one of. But Shane, you believe it does. So please tell us.
It's basically how I see it is it's kind of like Muck, except it's a basic, and it only works for Prism Stars.
Mm-hmm.
So if there was a meta where a basic Prism Star was extremely popular,
Mm-hmm.
And you still wanted to use your own basic abilities, I could see Wobbuffet being good.
Yeah.
You play it on your bench, you shut off Diancie. Let's say your deck has a really bad matchup against Buzzwole or, Buzzwole Lycanroc or Buzz Shrine because of Diancie. You can just shut off Diancie and you can still use your basic abilities.
You know what?
So I think it has a spot.
I just remembered something. I'm definitely changing my star to 2 stars because Ditto Prism.
It shuts off Ditto Prism, but Ditto Prism isn't that relevant.
Yeah, but what if your opponent plays like those techs, like we were talking about, like?
Oh, where they play like one of the.
Yeah,
like,
they're completely useless now. So
that's true. That's true.
mean, it's just sitting there on their bench. It's a bench spot wasted. So, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
Wob could be great.
I don't think Wob's bad. I think it's a meta call card.
Yeah.
And it's a card that kind of helps you with certain matchups depending on what deck you're playing, what deck you're playing against.
Yeah, definitely. All right. Nihilego. This is very cool card as long as you hit it at the right time. So for 1 Psychic Energy Nightcap, this attack can only be used when your opponent has 2 prize cards remaining, and choose an attack of one of your opponent's Pokemon in play and use it as this attack. And then its other attack, Empty Tentacles, for the same energy cost. Your opponent's active Pokemon is now poisoned and confused. It's foul play.
Empty Tentacles?
Empty Tentacles. Sure. So it's Zoroark's foul play as long as your opponent has 2 prize cards remaining. Now, this kind of sucks, and your opponent will probably realize this. In a best of 3, they will realize it if you throw it down or they see it at any point. Because once they go down to 2 prizes, they'll be like, all right, well, what Pokemon am I attacking with that's going to put me down to 2 prizes? And can I be attacked, return knocked out with these attacks? So it can be worked around a little bit. It's good in the fact that it's like...
It's Pokemon in play.
Yeah, definitely.
So it's not just active, like Zoroark is.
That's true. It's not ability. It's not the active.
It's like Zoroark GX's GX attack.
Yeah, that's true. So I misspoke there. Yeah, it could be any of the Pokemon, but your opponent still can play around it a little bit, just a tiny bit. Yeah. I think it's
good.
Yeah, it's good.
It's playable. I feel like you would play this in a 1-prizer Malamar deck, like Malamar Shrine.
Yeah, for sure.
It could really surprise your opponent, depending on what they're playing.
Yeah, because if you're down to 2 prizes and they have 2 prizes left or whatever, you could throw this down and, like, use something on their side to take your last 2 prizes. So Yeah.
But it's only usable when they're at 2 prices.
When they're at 2
I feel like if you're
prices.
when they're at 2 prices. So if you're playing like a GX deck or a Malamar that's not Shrine,
Yeah.
it's just not that great. You could run this in Buzz Shrine.
You could.
You could.
Might not be bad.
It might not be bad. This card could see some play.
Yeah, for sure. All right. So we did talk about this. Naganadel. The ability once during your turn you may attach a basic energy from Disco Palace to this Pokemon, and then the attack is 80 damage. If you have exactly 30 prizes remaining, it does 80 more. We already talked about it. I don't really feel like we should talk more about it. It's really going to be great in Blastophilon, and it could be great in just really any Beast Box deck.
I don't know about that.
Maybe. It's a good one prize attacker. Sure. Maybe like a 1-up in Beast Box.
It's 80 for 3.
Well, and if you have
maybe a 1-up in Beast Box.
Yeah,
I
if you have
guess.
3 prizes.
Beast Box isn't good.
Yeah, it's not good, unfortunately. There is so much hope for that deck, but...
Yeah, I know.
Anyways.
Everyone memes about it now.
Yeah. Anyways, it's a good card in Blastophilon. It probably won't be good in anything else, but definitely could see some play in other decks as well. So, Donphan, I'm more of a believer than Shane is on this guy. Ability, Sturdy. If this Pokemon has full HP and would be knocked out by damage from attack, this Pokemon is not knocked out, and its remaining HP becomes 10 instead. And then its attack for fighting double colorless, rolling spin 70, and then during your next turn it does another 70. And this is exactly what Last Chance Potion was made for, ladies and gentlemen. Same with the Hustle Belt, or whatever, all those things that were like below 30 HP. You can use all this stuff on Donphan, and you can bring it right back up to 120 damage with your Last Chance Potion. And it's got Dunsparce on there, dude. That's totally for you, man. I'm surprised.
Yeah, I'm not a believer.
I'm shocked. I mean, it can be pretty good. You got Diancie as well on the bench, Choice Band. I don't know. I think it could be pretty good. Definitely 2 stars, though. I don't see it like being consistent enough to stay up with the meta, but granted, it is 2. If it was like a fighting energy attack, just for 1 fighting energy, oh man, I'd be rating this like 3 stars for sure. But it's a 2 attachment.
Yeah.
For a base of 70, and it can the damage can be reset easily with Guzma, Escape Rope, etc. So that sucks, but yeah, there's synergy here for sure with all these 30 HP or less cards. So, yep.
I think Fred is going to become more popular because of Lost March, and 1 Coco attack destroys Donphan, the whole deck.
That is true.
It really does. You play Zorak, and you attack once with Coco, you win the game.
Yeah. Sad time.
Last Chance Potion. I'm not sure how they make these potions, but it has Dunsparce in the front, so I'm hoping that Dunsparce isn't used in the ingredients.
Yeah, I hope not. I hope not too, for Dunsparce's sake. That'd be sad. There needs to be like a little text below it saying no Dunsparces were harmed in the making of this potion.
Yeah. Other than that, yeah, I don't think Donphan's good just because Spread's going to become more popular, and even then, I feel like Spread will always exist somewhere in some form. Yeah. And 2 attachments is, and one of them has to be a DCE. I don't think it's worth the effort.
Definitely.
And Rolling Spin, that effect where it like adds extra damage to the attack on the following turn has never really been good, because you can just Guzma out of it, and essentially like, if you're attacking with this Donphan and you want a Guzma, you're Guzma-ing, and then you shut off your Rolling Spin's extra damage and you're doing less damage. It's just, it's not very conducive to what the current meta cards are.
Yeah. Yep, for sure. For sure. All right, we got T-Tar. Tyranitar GX. Ability lost out. If one of your opponent's Pokemon is knocked out by damage from this Pokemon's attacks, put that Pokemon and all cards attached to it into the Lost Zone. And then for a Dark, Colorless, Vicious Sandstorm, does 130 damage and 30 damage to each of your opponent's bench basic Pokemon. And then Dark, Colorless, Smackdown for 220 damage. This damage isn't affected by any effects on the defending Pokemon. So anything that's what am I trying to say? Dawn Wings, right? Your GX just totally like cancels out and just knocks out that Dawn Wings. Granted, this thing's really hard to set up. It's a Big Daddy 250 HP stage 2. But when you knock something out, like if they have their DCE there attached to it or whatever, it goes in the Lost Zone. So It's a cool little ability. I do think it's just a 2-star card, though. It's way better than the other Tyrannitars that took like 4 or 5 energy to attack. It has its uses. It's weak to fighting, which is sad. Sad times. So probably won't see play just because of that. It's really hard to set up, but if you do, there's lots of payoff here. Yeah. Shane, do you have really anything to say about him?
I don't really agree with the payoff. I don't think it really has any payoff.
Yeah.
130 is not what you want to be hitting on something that you have to manually attach to 3 times.
Mm-hmm.
There's like not really much dark support currently in standard, and in expanded you have other better dark cards to use.
True.
That ability is not very good unless your opponent is recovering a lot of their cards.
Mm-hmm.
It's not that relevant. Like, let's say you're knocking out like a Zoroark. You of course put their Zoroark and maybe their choice band into the lost zone, but they're not getting that choice band back anyways.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, they could like rescue Stretcher for their Zoroark, but they also run 4/4 Zoroark.
Mm-hmm.
So by the time like you knock out one Zoroark, they'll set up a board state with like some Lichen Rocks on it and just destroy Tyranitar. I don't think it'll ever really see play unless we get like a dark patch reprint or something, and even then, I don't know if it'd be enough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sad times. Azuriel